everyone, I'm Anne-Catherine Dern. I'm a Los Angeles-based film composer, and today I'm going to take a look at VSL's brand new Synchron Brass. It was recorded at Vienna's state-of-the-art Synchron stage, where these days a lot of Hollywood scores are being recorded. It comes with 8 solo instruments and 9 ensembles, and depending on the version of the library that you get different kinds of mic positions. The standard version comes with close, mids, and the Decca tree, and is 75.5 gigabytes large. The full version comes with surrounds, outriggers, and several other mic positions that are instrument specific. And the full version is 136.8 gigabytes large. So as far as brass libraries go, this is one of the largest on the market, I would say. As all VSL libraries, it loads into their free Synchron player. No additional software is needed. And as usual, the folks at VSL went in and created a ton of really useful presets for this library, ranging from EQ presets to reverb presets to mic mix presets. It's super helpful when you're on the fence about what sound you're looking for. You can try them out very quickly and see what sticks. And also, if you're a beginner and you're really unsure about EQing and reverbs and all that stuff, this is a really great starting point for you. One of the most outstanding things about this library is the new timbre adjust feature. So usually specifically with brass libraries, you have the issue that brass in lower velocities sounds very mellow, but then as you go higher in velocity, it brightens up and gets that brassy signature sound. But most developers only record 3 to 5 velocity layers. And so when you switch from one layer to the next, the sound might just be brightening up too much. So you have no control over how bright or how mellow the brass is outside of controlling the velocity. But when you record with a professional player, they can play loudly, but also keep the sound a bit more mellow. Or, I can tell them, hey, can you play this soft, but I kind of want a bright, brassy sound. They can do that too. So a professional player can really adjust to what you tell them to do, but most brass libraries cannot do that. So this new feature, the timbre adjust, allows you to work at, say, a higher velocity, but then mellow up the sound if you think it's too bright. It gives you an extra control over what the instrument sounds like inside the different velocity layers. And it's really helpful if, sometimes you feel it's too bright or it's too mellow. You can, now mold the sound to what you want it to be, the same way a player would. The library also comes with some really useful legato features. It has a fast legato, it has a regular legato. It also has an auto speed legato function where it analyzes what you're playing in what tempo, and then it will automatically adjust the legato speed to what you were playing. It has different crescendos pre-recorded, but you can also use the stretch function inside the Synchron player to really adjust crescendos to the exact length that you need them to be, which is always a problem with brass libraries or any libraries that have pre-recorded crescendos in them, that you can't really adjust the length of these crescendos. This library really comes with every articulation that you may want and more. It also comes with pre-recorded repetitions to make them sound more natural, with triple tong, double tong, and different kinds of upbeats into the downbeats. So you can really choose a lot of things in this library that most other libraries do not have, and certainly not in this much detail. The library is also very easy to program. I did a mock-up with it to test it out, and it was very, very simple because it's well-timed. There are no weird issues that you normally have, like weird legato bumps or anything. The volume transitions and velocity transitions are very, very smooth. There's no phasing between the layers going on, and everything, even when using the auto speed legato, is still very well timed if you set up the right negative pre-delay, and that is also very consistent. Plus, it also comes with expression maps, so since they are so consistent, it's going to be much easier to have everything on one track and use expression maps, which I usually find an issue if a library is not consistent enough between the articulations. Then expression maps or key switches become an issue. But since this library is so dependent on either expression maps or key switches or program changes, they were very, very meticulous in their editing and in their volume balancing. I would say VSL's Synchron Brass is definitely one of the largest brass libraries on the market and one of the most versatile. I think outside of film composition, this is particularly good for concert composers if they want to do a really realistic mock-up of their concert piece. This really does have all of the nuances that a concert composer would need. And I would also say this is very, very helpful for any composer who doesn't get their scores recorded live all the time. If you want to get the most realistic mock-up with really all kinds of micro decisions that you can normally make at a scoring stage, then I think this is a very, very helpful library because you can make all of those micro decisions in this library because they recorded all of the variations and all of the little things that live players would do. So you really get to tweak every detail of your mock-up.